Reaper's Candle, and today we are doing another pick a card reading, but this time, as per the suggestion of one of my subscribers, we're using tokens, so these dice, to kind of pick the piles that we resonate with the most. So I would like to shout out to Kathleen, one of our new public subscribers on the channel. Thank you for subscribing, and please spread the word if you think that these videos are resonating and someone might be interested in watching them, even just for entertainment purposes. I would really appreciate that, and I very much appreciate all the subscribers that we do have currently. So after now that I've thanked everyone, I would like to remind you guys that if you guys like this video or it resonates, please do give a like button, hit the thumbs up button. And if you guys are interested in watching more videos like this, please do subscribe to the channel. And if you guys have any suggestions or ideas or comments that you guys want to leave for future videos, or any suggestions on how to improve the channel so that it's more entertaining and more useful to you guys, please do leave those in the comment box below. That would help me provide a much more accurate reading for all of the viewers that are watching me. Thank you, and we are going to get started on the reading now. So today's reading, we are looking into your light versus shadow aspects. Okay, so that's what you need to focus on when you're asking the question for today's reading. And then I'm going to let you pick a totem, and then I'll let you know which totem stands for what pile. Okay? So yeah, take a moment to ground yourself, take a few deep breaths, do some chakra meditation, or just try to really zone yourself into the present moment and your own awareness of your body and your environment. And I will give you a moment to focus in on the question, what are my light aspects and what are my shadow aspects? Okay, now that you guys have picked a pile for which one you feel most resonating or drawn to, I will let you know what the piles are. So I am going to say this is pile 1, this is pile 2, and this is pile 3. So pretty straightforward, but I mean, instinctually, that's what I felt like. Okay, so now that you guys have picked your piles, please go ahead and click on the timestamp in the description box below, and you can get started on your reading. Okay, so pile 1, you guys got or picked the 5 number die, and it's a red colored die. Just from this, I can see that there's a lot of change going on in your life. In terms of the positive things that are going on, I think you guys are moving up ahead in life, and there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of advancement happening in your life. Maybe you're accomplishing goals that you've worked really hard towards, and all of a sudden they're all coming true, or reaching, like, you're finally reaching all those multiple goals that you've been working on for a longer period of time and been patiently waiting for the results to be reaped. And on the negative side, I'm seeing that there may be a little bit of chaoticness or conflict, and maybe even a little bit of anger or stress caused emotional release towards people that do not need that emotional release to be released upon them, just because everything's happening all at once and you kind of feel really busy and stretched out. So that would maybe be one of the negative aspects of what's going on in your life right now. But let's get into your light aspects and your shadow aspects, and we will continue the reading then, okay? All right, pile one. So what we got for your reading is these two cards. So for your light aspect, we got the King of Swords in reverse, and for your dark aspects, we got the Ten of Wands. All right, let's see if I can kind of show you what I see. Okay, so for your light aspects, I was focusing in on this pendant near this person's heart. Okay, so definitely you guys have a very open and generous heart, and because this is the King of Swords energy in reverse, I think you guys are very active and you guys put a lot of effort into making your goals happen and making them into a reality. But at the same time, you're not very stoic about the way that you proceed with how you accomplish your goals. You're not just focused on accomplishing that goal. You're focused on accomplishing it in a positive and in a sustainable way. So you don't want to hurt anyone unnecessarily, and you don't want to come off as a mean or rude or cruel person that's only focused on accomplishing their goals. That's why this pendant kind of struck out to me so much, was because it's like kind of like showing how generous and open and nice and kind-hearted you can be, even though you are someone who focuses on their goals and accomplishes them by putting in the effort needed in your physical reality to make those things come true. Okay? But in your shadow aspect, we got the Ten of Wands. Okay, so now the Ten of Wands, I basically picked up that you guys, I'm sorry about the lighting, it's glaring off the cards, but I hope you guys can see that. Basically with the Ten of Wands, what I picked up was this person is carrying all these wands and holding on to one that's actually lit up. So it's almost like you guys are carrying the burden of multiple people along with your own goals. And even though you're trying to focus in on these goals, these things that you are carrying or tasks that you are doing that are kind of adding like an extra baggage to your work in your physical reality are still there. You know, you're not letting them go. They're not surrounding you. They're on your back in a little sack. And at the same time, I can see that this woman over here, she's kind of protecting her heart over here, right? So that basically means that you guys don't really let people in to see how your emotions are doing. You guys have this persona of that person has got it all together, right? The person who's really busy and doing multiple things and everyone's happy with them and everyone likes them. But at the same time, they're not letting their true emotions show or come out into the light. And they keep on trying to do this. Basically, it's kind of like a people-pleasing type of personality. But at the same time, you're very much in your own boss energy as well. You don't want to disappoint anyone or reject anyone because you don't want to be mean to them. But at the same time, you're also focusing on your own goals. So it's not that much of a hindrance in your eyes and in your reality. And this could be the reason why I was seeing that sort of like this pent-up stress releasing itself in negative emotions that just kind of burst out at odd moments when you're kind of in this frantic frenzy of trying to get multiple things done simultaneously. And that could be the reason why I saw that explosion of emotions that would happen like once in a while. But at the same time, I also saw that you were balancing multiple goals and tasks, basically, all at the same time. Okay, so now we're going to look at some advice cards for both the light and the shadow aspect, okay? Okay, pile one, so I asked for advice on your light aspects and your shadow aspects. So for your light aspects, there was only 2 cards, which is Strength and the Seven of Swords in reverse. And basically, your light aspect was that you're very open and generous, even though you get your own goals done with your effort. But the advice for your light aspect was that you sometimes have to be strong and say no to certain tasks. Even though you are very open and generous, because this King of Swords is coming out in reverse, it's almost as if because you're so willing to accept everyone else's tasks and requests and favors that they ask of you, because you don't want to upset anyone and you want to be kind to everyone, and you think it's okay because you can still focus on your own goal and accomplishing it, it takes much more longer to accomplish your own goal because you're focusing on multiple different things all at once. So you have to have the strength to kind of open your own mouth and stand up for yourself and say no to certain things. Now, you don't have to be rude about it because the Seven of Swords did come out in reverse, and the strength is always like a gentle strength, right? Because it's like a feminine figure here. So that would be feminine energy opening up their masculine energy. So it's a gentle no that you have to deliver to people if you realize that this task, I can't handle it, or I have too much on my plate right now, or I'm not focusing on my own goals enough right now. And this is actually also a kind of like, it'll be helpful for your shadow aspect as well, where you're having difficulty kind of balancing different things, and that leads to an emotional buildup due to all the stress coming from juggling multiple projects or multiple tasks, some of which don't have anything to do with you, and you're just helping someone out because you want to be kind. Okay, so you just try to sometimes say no. You can say it in a gentle manner, and you can just tell people like, listen, my plate's too full right now, and I don't think I can handle that right now, so give me a couple of days and I'll let you know if they have that time. If it's something urgent or an emergency or something, and only you can handle it, obviously, then you would have to work some sort of situation out, some compromise maybe. But if other people can do it, try to tell them like, I'm sorry, I can't take on this responsibility right now. It's just too much for me. And you move on with life. There's nothing rude about it, and I'm pretty sure most people will be willing to accept. And from what I'm seeing here, I feel like most people would be willing to accept because there is a sign of strength and the Seven of Swords in reverse. So you're not saying it in a mean or rude way, so people are very much understanding of this, and they actually probably will hold you in higher regard for being able to say no to them in a gentle but firm manner. And they'll have more respect for you as well because they'll realize that you are not this ideal human being, and they'll be able to relate to you more and be more comfortable around you as well. Then with your shadow aspects, for the advice, we got the Hangman in reverse, Death in reverse, the Star, and the Nine of Cups in upright position. So just from the Hangman and the Death, we can see that you need to basically stop trying to help other people so often. You need to get out of this hangman situation. And even though this is coming out in reverse, which means you're not stuck, right? That basically tells me that you need to stop being so stubborn about helping people out and being so kind and getting them out of their own stuck situation. And you need to kind of hold your hand back sometimes so that you can be more free in your own life. And the same message is over here with Death in reverse. You need to stop looking back and trying to find other people to help out, okay? Because A, they are not your responsibility, okay? B, sometimes being too kind can actually become a disadvantage. Some people may take advantage of you and try to dump all their tasks and workload onto you, and some people may become reliant on you or codependent on you, which is another tough game to play. And sometimes you lose track of your own independent values and goals and lifestyle. Okay, so it's a very difficult game to play, but if you balance the qualities correctly, you'll be fine and people will not be upset at you or anything like that. Okay? And then with the star and the Nine of Cups coming right after these two cards, telling you that you need to pull back some of the help that you're giving, which confirms these two cards of the Strength and Seven of Swords, right? To kind of say no sometimes, even if it's a gentle but firm no. The star and the Nine of Cups basically talk about you rebalancing your emotions, becoming more aware of your emotions. I was focusing on this person kind of like throwing out the water, which is usually to do with emotions, out of the jugs. And it almost felt like the water was flowing in and out of the jugs. So going from one jug to another, from that jug to this jug, and like that. Okay? So it's almost like you need to become more aware and focused of your own energies and feelings and when your stress is building up. And you need to learn how to let go of that stress, how to reground yourself, and how to manage your emotions in a much more positive and healthy manner so that you aren't having those random bursts of emotional flares when your stress builds up too much from juggling all these multiple projects. Okay, and sometimes you may have to step away from all the projects, including your own, just to rebalance your emotions and to assess the situation and see whether you are able to balance all the tasks that you have at hand or not. Because you can see that this person is kind of turned away from all these stars or goals or dreams, right? This could also signify that whenever you need to decide whether you can take on more tasks or responsibilities, you need to first look at your emotions and see how are your emotions doing. Is your stress getting to the point that you will have a like a emotional burst because the stress has built up to the point that it needs to be released somehow? Or are you doing positive and healthy in your emotions? You can manage your emotions, you don't feel burdened or too frantic in your workload, things like that. Okay? And being right next to the Nine of Cups, it does show that the Nine of Cups means overflowing emotions or abundance in emotions, which basically means that yes, you need to be more expressive about your emotions and how you are truly feeling. And again, like I said, this is actually going to create better relatability in relationships for you because people will see that you are only human and they'll actually start taking on their own responsibilities and tasks and almost like you're also going to have a sense of independence and a sense of empowerment where you can say no if you don't feel comfortable taking on a task or if your health, your emotional health or mental health is at risk because of the amount of tasks or stress that's being built up. Okay? All right, so pile one, I hope you guys enjoyed your reading and it resonated. Yeah. Please leave a like or thumbs up if you like the video, and please do leave a comment in the comment box below if you guys have any future suggestions or ideas. Okay? Have a wonderful, blessed, and curious week, guys. Bye. Okay, pile two, welcome to your reading. You guys picked this green die with the number 1 on it. So in total, with your life, honestly, the number 1 is supposed to be of new beginnings in tarot and in numerology and stuff like that. But I almost feel like you are kind of vibing with pile 1 in the sense that you guys are also having some change in your life, but it's a very big or major positive change. It's something that makes you feel very happy and very delighted. I'm seeing almost like a marriage. I feel like I see like a bride running down to her groom in like an outdoor, like a picnic themed destination wedding type of place with just close family and friends. Let's see what else. I'm seeing a lot of love and openness and lightheartedness and laughter and fun. And green does have to do with the heart chakra, so that could be why I'm seeing such a positive and open, bubbly energy. Fun keeps on popping out, the word fun. Like a new adventure is about to begin, or you've picked like the right gift, the right prize door. So yeah, those are the positive aspects that are going on in your life. Just something that makes you really, really happy and elated, and is very much a major moment in your life that will be one of those milestones that you always remember as one of the happiest moments of your life, right? In terms of the negative or the shadow aspects of your life, I feel like because you have this emotional high, you may also have like certain moments of silence or certain moments of just really not depressing, but like very not even tired, but very much of like this. I have the phrase right in my mind, but I can't. It's usually used to describe, down to earth. Down to earth is what I'm feeling. That's the phrase that I was looking for. Very low, down to earth, mellow type of vibe going on in these silent moments that happen maybe once or twice throughout the preparation of whatever this event or major opportunity or life change or milestone is. Okay, so now we're going to get into your light and shadow aspects, and I'm also going to give you some advice on both of them, okay? Okay, pile 2. This is really, really weird. First of all, I'm recording, right? So when I record, I pause the video and I will restart it as I continue the recording of the video. So when I started re-recording the video, first of all, I saw the numbers 2212. So that could be a significant number for you, or that could be like an angel number sign or whatever, because 22 I know is a sign. Plus also the 1 being doubled into a 2 for the 12. That's also very interesting to me. But besides that, if you take a look at your cards, I asked what are your light aspects. You got 10 for the wheel, 10 of swords, 10 of wands, and 10 of cups. The only thing you guys are missing is 10 of pentacles. And this is the first time that has ever happened, like, where this many coincidences have popped up in a reading since I've been doing these YouTube readings, or even for my family members. So let's take a look at your light aspects. This got me really excited. Okay, so I think I'm going to start off with the 10 of swords here. Okay, so with the 10 of swords, I can see that you're a very positive person, that even the situations or the moments where you feel like you're drowning or things aren't going your way and things are just overall in a wreck or in a very negative state, and being right next to the wheel, it could almost be taken as the turn down of fortune or fate. You still kind of go with the flow and you're still floating above the water. You don't drown in these sorrows, and you don't end up drowning with these negative moments or emotions or situations. You are very much resilient, and you hold your breath and patiently just float, focusing in on the air that's kind of lifting up these leaves, and you keep on praying and you keep on hoping and you have faith that one day you also will be able to be lifted up out of the water towards the air and start flying towards the clouds or the high of the wheel of fortune, okay? Or towards another positive situation, if you want to put it in realistic terms. Yeah, and I honestly feel like, especially because this person's head is turned outside towards all of this positive and uplifting energy that's going on here, rather than focusing in on this dark energy of the water below them that they are in. I feel, again, this idea that no matter how bad times get, you just don't focus on the negativity of that situation. You tend to look forward to the future and to the promise that your fortunes will once again turn bright and positive. Next, with the Ten of Wands, I feel like you guys are very fiery and passionate, and you guys make your dreams come true. Not necessarily always by action. You guys definitely put in the effort to put yourself out there and to take the necessary basic or minor or first steps to kind of proceed on a goal or to make things happen in your physical reality. But most of it is done actually by your manifestation, by the way that you think. Again, this is coming right next to the Ten of Swords. So definitely a lot of the things that you have made a decision on or turned into physical reality was because you thought, this is what I want, and I'm going to focus on the positive and manifest it into being. So yes, there's this whole idea that because you're such a positive person and you're such a person with such focused positive or manifestation type of energy, that your dreams really do come true. And honestly, they come true very quickly and very fast, and almost in like kind of like this fire where the blaze just kind of spreads so quickly that you don't even realize that it's coming to you until it's on the rest of your dress, right? Yep. And again, this person is turned away from this negative situation of her dress being on fire and turned towards this open window with brightness towards it. And even though she kind of looks sad and down, it's almost like she's reflecting about the situation rather than being actually super depressed or sad about the situation, and in this very sorrowful and pitiful, self-pitying type of negative thought process. She's not talking about that at all. It almost looks like she's looking down at her dress to see if it's perfected or if it's got any wrinkles that needs to be smoothed out. And again, she's wearing a wedding dress. So this major change could actually be a wedding that's taking place in your life. Either you are getting married or maybe someone that you love dearly is getting married. Mostly I'm getting you are getting married. Yeah. And then with the Ten of Cups, again, you are facing the light. And even though there's all of this darkness below her and around her, she is still focused on the light that little bit of light that's streaming from above, right? And again, this idea of being almost like positive to the point of being very aloof and very adaptable and very much going with the flow. And Ten of Cups is definitely emotional abundance and happiness and fulfillment. Now, that's usually what the cards show, but this card, it very much feels like a detached emotional fulfillment. It's almost like if the good comes in your life, you're very happy and like very thankful and grateful about it. But if there's sadness in your life, you don't mind that either because you understand that it's all part of the process and it's all part of the cycle. And that today there may be a bad situation or dark clouds and dim, gloomy weather, but tomorrow or maybe even in an hour or a minute, there'll be sunshine and flowers and birds chirping and everything like that, okay? So you are very sensible and very controlling of your emotions when it comes to the situation. And finally, with the wheel, you control your destiny. Again, usually the wheel is shown as like an actual wheel of fortune, but in this card we're shown basically the three sisters that control the thread of fate, right? And I'm focusing in on these two people up here rather than this person who's kind of worried about what could happen in the future, when the future's positivity could end, or aka death, right? If you look into the Greek mythology, the last final person is the one who snips the thread to end the life of the human being. So I'm focusing in on these two, and both of them have their hands surrounding the thread. One making the thread, and one analyzing it and molding it in her hand to decide when and which part needs to be analyzed. So very much you are in control of your destiny. You mold and manifest and create your own fate, and then you also analyze it and are very reflective about it, and very positive, very detached in a neutral way, and you never look at your life in a negative way or in a super positive way. It's very much focused on, these are the things that happened, and I'm grateful for these things. And these things, yes, they happened, but what were the good things that happened in these negative times? Okay? Now moving on to your shadow aspects. All right, pile 2, so these are your shadow aspects. So just in general, the feeling that I got from your cards was that you are so positive that you are completely oblivious about the negative parts. And it's almost a sense of that you're so focused on the positive moments that you seem to be a little bit disbalanced in terms of realizing that there are negative moments in your life or in your reality. Starting off over here in this corner, we've got the King of Pentacles and the Emperor in reverse. So it's almost like you feel like you have control of your life, right? With this Emperor, and you're very much in your confident and poised energy, and again with the King and divine masculine figure being here, it feels like you think that you have control of your physical reality, which is why we can almost kind of see like a smirking or smugging face on this person as well. But because the Emperor came out in reverse, it feels like you aren't completely aware of what you actually have in your control and what you don't. Your confidence is almost like a facade. So it could be that even though your physical reality is in your control, your emotions may not be something that you have entirely control over, or the personality or the character that you have developed may be something that was influenced more by the environment and the people that you hung out with. So in reality, yes, your physical environment is everything that you have manifested into reality, but even this physical environment, this King of Pentacles has a very loose grip on this coin. So it's, and also even like with these two animals guarding him and him giving a smirk because he knows that he's protected by these two, it's almost as if your confidence has no basis in terms of, how do I explain this? Yeah, so basically from the outside, your image is very much that you're in control of your life and that you can create your reality however you want. But on the inside, I think you have very much of an issue with your confidence. You may have a lot of doubts about whether you are actually skilled or talented in something. You may have doubts about your actual power in the physical realm. You may lack confidence in yourself, basically, even though your physical reality says otherwise. Even your image itself may exude this confidence to cover up the insecurity that you have on the inside. With the Ten of Swords, again, this idea that you are kind of ready to be sacrificed at any moment. No matter how many times you are hurt, if you look at this hand over here, she's not bleeding or anything, right, from the swords, but they're definitely pricking her. They're definitely in her, and we all know that swords, if they stabbed you, you would die. And she definitely looks like she's laying on a rock, almost like dying, but there's no blood coming out. And she may even be in pain as shown by her body's natural reaction, right, of her curling up her legs and her arms kind of, how do you say, twisting the fingers to show that they're in pain. But her face looks very calm, and it almost feels like she's grabbing the sword to put it in deeper. But at the same time, she doesn't want it to go deeper. So there's very much of a conflicting opinion that you have. And this Ten of Swords showed up in your light aspect as well. So it could be a double-edged sword that you're playing with, that even though you tend to kind of not focus on the negative situation and always hope that there's going to be a better day to come, and try to focus on the positives of the moment until you can actually get into a truly positive situation. It's almost as if you're too accepting of the negative things that happen in your life. And this going with the flow and being adaptable, it's like you don't even want to realize that there are negative things in your life. You're just letting things happen as they happen. And you don't realize that you could literally take these swords out and not be dying on a rock and not have to be in this negative situation if you just realized and took the time out to acknowledge that you are in a negative situation so that you could possibly manifest your way out of the negative situation rather than waiting for it to be resolved by itself and by fate itself. Then you've got the Two of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. So again, this has to do with your physical reality. And I feel this has to do with maybe your resources. And because they both came out in reverse, right? It basically means that even though you are balanced in your resources, right? You may not be balanced in your self, your total package as a person. You are often confused as to what the right decision is, as this person's expression may show, that this person looks very distraught. And it's almost like they're considering, okay, should I do this or should I do that? So again, this sense of insecurity is showing up. And then with this Four of Pentacles in reverse, it's almost like you're trying to live your life in a way that is very much influenced by your physical realm, right? She's standing on Two of the Pentacles, holding the Pentacles, thinking with the Pentacles. So a lot of your own character and your values and beliefs and such like that are influenced by your physical environment. You're going so much with the flow that everything in your life is affected by that flow, rather than by you taking things into your own hand and manifesting them into reality. And then with the Eight of Wands, again, it's this idea that you're very much chilled out, even though there are these kind of like fiery spears straight aimed at you. And you seem to, again, trying to close your eyes or turn a blind eye to the danger that you are actually in, right? Mermaids should not ever be near fire. They will burn. And they should not be out of the water as she is doing, once again, on jagged rocks. And again, with her hand wincing in pain, and her legs curled up again in like this tight position, this constricted position. So it's very much, again, this idea that even your thoughts that are going against you, you do not acknowledge them. You do not acknowledge the negative things that are happening in your life, or the negative thoughts or the negative ideas that could come into your head because of this insecurity that you have, and because of this character that you have basically built up out of being influenced by your physical realm and resources, which includes friends, family, and where you were brought up and raised, what access to resources you had, etc. Okay, so now I just got some advice cards for your shadow aspects, and then I'll go into your light aspects and their advice cards. So just for your shadow aspects, we can see that there is change required. So you got 5 of swords and you got 10 of swords. So not only is it like a multiple, so 5 times 2 becomes 10, so that could be special, but also the 10 of swords is showing up again even in your advice cards. So it showed up in your light aspect, your dark shadow aspect, and your advice cards for your shadow aspect. So basically what you have to do is you have to change the way that you behave and approach negative situations and thoughts. Okay? More so situations, because swords has to do with action, and because you got both swords, it's definitely a change in how you approach the negative things that you have to deal with. You can see that these swords over here are letting some of the swords in the background in, but not all of them, right? They're cutting through some of them and blocking them off, and then only allowing 2 or 4 in. So that shows you that you don't have to let all the negative things in your life in. You don't have to become aware of all the negative things in your life, or even let go of that ideology of focusing on the positive and being happy in the moment. But you need to take control of your life by actually making decisions in negative situations, by actually looking at certain negative things that are affecting your life and cutting them out, and actually taking a proactive step towards making your life better rather than waiting for the swords to kind of just untangle themselves and flow away. And again, with this 5 of swords, I'm kind of focusing in on this right here. So it's again this idea of standing by yourself on your own 2 feet in a confident and firm position, and standing up for yourself in a negative situation, deciding to actually take an action to solve that negative situation rather than letting it happen and go on by without ever trying to actually do anything about it. And this is actually going to help you develop a much more stronger personality and a system of values and beliefs that are based on your own experiences rather than everyone else's or your physical environment. Okay, pile 2. So these are the cards for advice for your light aspect. So the cards that got pulled out was 7 of Wands and the Devil. So again, it's this idea that you have to face your demons, you have to face your addictions, you have to become aware of and learn to manage and face off the negative situations, ideas, or thought processes or behaviors that you have. Okay? And to do that, you actually have to use your positive thinking, right, to target each of the 7 of Wands that you have, right, in terms of negative aspects. So if you are thinking about a negative situation, or if you are having certain things inside of your head that keep on popping up throughout your life, you need to think about them thoroughly and face them head on in a mentally healthy way. You can't escape your devils or your demons. You have to face them and you have to overcome them to be able to actually move on and not be turning a blind eye to the negative things that happen in your life, because even the negatives will actually teach you very important lessons. And again, you have to remember that everything in your life is in your hands, right? So even the negative situations, you can take these negative situations into your hands and overcome them very quickly and very easily, because you're a very good manifester of your decisions and your goals. And again, this entire idea that you control your destiny and your fate. So you should have that confidence. You should not be the Emperor in reverse, but rather the Emperor in upright position. And I'm going to turn that upright to send you guys some positive energy so you guys can control your life, control these negative situations, control these negative ideas, and overcome them into someone who is not only focused on the positive moments in life, but is also aware of the negative moments and knows how to use their positivity to overcome the challenge of the negativity, basically. Okay? And yeah, so basically that is your reading, pile 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, I would always recommend that you guys go out, and I think this is a common occurrence for pile 2 or something, but this is the third video where pile 2 has been recommended to go and seek some professional counseling. So I would definitely suggest that. I myself am actually going on Monday to kind of improve my own life, because I'm very similar to you in the mindset that I tend to look at the positives in everything and tend not to focus on the negatives. And I don't want to see the negatives, especially now that I've grown up with and seen so much of negativity around me, and have seen that talking about it or trying to focus in on it doesn't do anything. But then I've also seen that just being positive and just trying to think that, oh, it'll get better one day, that's not making a difference either. So I really have to learn how to compromise my negative situation and use my positivity and my ability to manifest things and take control of my own actions and destiny, and use that to kind of think, okay, well, I'm in this situation. What is the most that I can do to make the best of this situation, or to make this situation better? That's how I'm kind of approaching life now. But we'll see on Monday what happens, whether I go for more counseling sessions or not to help improve my life or not. Because life is a long journey of learning and growing and developing and evolving. That's why as humans we have survived for this long. So yeah, just I hope you guys enjoy this reading, and if you guys feel it is appropriate, do seek professional counseling to either improve your life or help you with balancing the positives and okay, have a lovely, curious, and blessed week, pile 2. Okay, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you guys picked the blue die with the number 4 on it. And from what I've seen in terms of numerology, it seems like 4 is a number for a result, or almost like the calm before the storm. So where 5 is change and 3 is kind of like an awareness of something kind of brewing, whether that's positive or negative, 4 would be the actual realization point of this challenge or this opportunity that is available or present to you. Okay, so just in terms of the token that you guys have picked, it seems like your life is very much like an emotional ride, an emotional roller coaster. Not super highs and super lows, but it does have a few bumps. It does have a few maybe moderate lows, and maybe like 1 or 2 really big highs. And maybe even 1 really major low. But I'm seeing that most of your life has to do with emotions. And I think, let's see what's going on in your life in terms of positive values. In terms of positive things that are going on in your life, it feels like you may be actually overcoming a very deep hurt, or maybe even like a breakup or something. I'm seeing a girl crying in a college dorm corner on a stool and just wiping up their tears and their nose because they just were broken up with, or they were deeply hurt in some way. Maybe their partner was cheating on them or something like that and they saw it. It seems that type of a situation. So the positive thing that's happening in your life is that you're actually overcoming and letting go of this negative experience and the hurt that you have delivered from this experience. In terms of the negative situations, I feel like, again, because you are still overcoming this situation, even though you are mostly overcome it because you're letting go and expressing your emotions, it almost feels like, because this was a deep hurt and this was probably a relationship that you were very much in love with and thought this was the one, it may take a couple of moments or a couple of times when you are reminded of that person through small tiny things, or you see them on a daily basis maybe, and or maybe you even see them with the new person that they're dating, and it kind of brings you back into this down or slightly depressed mode where it's like, that could have been me, or like you feel very much detached from life, almost like you're empty on the inside when you see these things happening in front of you or are reminded, right? And it's completely understandable. If you were hurt, I'm really sorry, and I hope that whoever that person was, that they see the right pathway and they don't do that to anyone else, and they also apologize to you if they haven't already done so. And you are healed enough that you are able to accept their apology, and that you also see the right and the straight path that will lead to your own happiness and even more abundance than what you thought could be possible. Yeah. So let's get started on your reading. We're going to do light and shadow aspects and then seek some advice for both of those. Okay, so pile 3, your light aspects. So first I'm going to talk about the Two of Pentacles, then the Three of Cups and the Sun, and then the Fool finally. Okay, so with the Two of Pentacles, you are definitely a dreamer person, but you're the type of person that when they have a dream, you don't let anything or anyone stand in your path of actually moving towards that dream and having it happen to you. So you can see that this lady, she's aware of all the fog and the chaos going on around here. And even though the fog and chaos is kind of snagging on her dress and trying to keep her held back, she's still moving towards this light or this dream world of hers. And yeah, there's definitely this idea of leaving the past behind and moving towards the future. Yes. Okay. So that's one of your light aspects, is that you're a dreamer who doesn't let anything stop them from dreaming and making those dreams come true and moving towards those dreams. I would say moving towards those dreams more than making them the dreams come true. Let's keep it at that for now. And then with the Three of Cups and the Sun, I can see that you're very good at balancing your emotions with the way that she's holding the teacup and the tea plate or the saucer. You're also very, like, you can see that her face almost looks very stoic, like almost like she's disinterested or unaffected by anything that the audience or the people looking at her are saying or thinking about her. So it's very much this idea that even though you have a lot of emotions to give or share, you know how to control your emotions and how to not let them be displayed for everyone to see, right? You're very much understanding of how your emotions operate and what emotions you're feeling and how to control them and rebalance or balance them in a healthy way. So that you can, and this could be related to your current situation if you are going through a breakup or some sort of emotional distress, that you are able to bounce back very quickly because of this ability to be aware and manage your emotions. And then with the Sun, you can see that the rose is kind of withering away. So obviously this emotional distress may have hurt you, but most of the rose is still there. So you may think that you're closing up your heart or losing interest in romantic thoughts and your dreams, but in reality, most of your beliefs and values and your hopes and wishes are still there. And this withering almost feels like it's something natural that had to take place to be able to get to the amount of rose that was perfect for you in terms of your own emotional heart. So you couldn't be completely in full bloom to be offered to whoever your perfect or ideal partner is, or your future dream partner or soulmate, whoever he is or she is. You needed to kind of peel back certain layers or certain things to be able to offer them the rose that they deserve to be offered, and that is the true you. And you can kind of see that this lady, she's looking up into the darkness even though the sun is right there. So it's almost like, even though you guys are very much in control and aware of your emotions, just like this never-ending cup of tea, like in Wonderland, you are very much able to bounce back, but it's almost like you bounce back in a slightly wrong way. You are focusing your efforts or focusing on bouncing back into relationships where there's nothing but darkness, where there will be no happiness, and your rose will just keep on withering away. It is an empty glass of emotions, right? But if you focus on the sun or the right abundance, that the right relationship that is meant for you, your rose will actually start growing the petals back into full bloom, and your never-ending cup of tea will not be an empty cup of tea, but rather it will be a teacup that is never full, because the emotions just keep on going in and in and in and in and in, because it is truly a never-ending cup of emotional abundance and happiness and fulfillment. And then your light aspect is a Fool in reverse. So you are very mature, and that can be reiterated by the fact that you know how to control your emotions well, not display them like like a mature adult would, or not display every single emotion, right? And you tend to deal with a lot of your distresses or personal accomplishments and things like that in a very independent manner. I don't think you care about how people perceive you or think about you in terms of your image, because you're very confident in why you do the certain things that you do, and your values and beliefs are very strong. But at the same time, you don't want to let your emotions show to people outside, because they are not something that needs to be shared to people outside. And you are very much knowledgeable in how to manage and balance those emotions in a healthy and positive way, so that you can move on with your life and be able to move towards your dream again. Okay, guys, so just like how in your light aspects there were certain shadow aspects that showed up, that you guys are, even though you guys are very much emotionally balanced and managed and aware, you guys are focusing on the wrong places to get your emotional abundance and fulfillment. And this is kind of showing up again in your reading, as you can see that there is the Temperance card, which basically means that you're being very patient. And because she is, again, flowing the water between two cups, it's, again, this idea of being very patient with your emotions and learning how to manipulate them and manage them in a way that grants you this patience. But again, because she's being so patient, she's focusing more on managing and balancing her emotions rather than this happiness that is right behind her in the road. And she's kind of dooming herself to a lifelong duty of managing her emotions and rebalancing herself every time her heart breaks, rather than this emotional and physical and material abundance that is waiting just behind her if she just leaves the cups for a little while, or just chooses to go with one cup of emotions and proceed forward. With the Eight of Pentacles, there is again this idea of reaching for something that is not necessarily yours or meant for you. And again, there is this idea of this chaotic wind, or a lot of wind being blown away where you are trying to reach. So you are reaching for coins or pentacles or people that you should not be reaching for. None of these pentacles are yours. Maybe this person might be close to your pentacle, but definitely none of them are yours, because they are out of your reach, right? If you have to put in extreme effort to make things work out with these people, then they are not for you. And trying to reach out to these people is actually going to end up putting you into this temperance situation over and over again, where you're rebalancing your emotions because you get hurt consistently and constantly, whether it is because the relationship has gone stale and there's no more excitement or love, or the relationship doesn't have actual true love, or the relationship partners are hurting each other in some way, whether emotional, mental, or physical. But either way, you will have to keep on coming back to this temperance energy just to reground yourself and to make sure that you are not being hurt or damaged. And she almost kind of looks like she's bored of the situation or tired of the situation because of her one raised eyebrow, even though this person looks very la-di-da happy and thinks she's doing the right thing by reaching for these pentacles. With the Five of Cups and the Tower in reverse, again, it's this idea that you are going to go through, you kind of put yourself into these major emotional situations where your cups kind of fall out. So your emotions that are protecting you, they no longer can protect you, or the values and beliefs that you thought would hold up the relationship do not hold up the relationship and come crumbling down, just like the Tower. And just like this thunder, it happens very much all of a sudden and very much unexpectedly to you, even though you should have expected it, because there were signs, and this red can show you that there are red flags that pop up in your emotional cups. So emotional red flags that will pop up before this Tower moment happens. But because you kind of ignore those and you let them kind of go by, right? And you try to protect the emotional stakes that you have in these relationships, you will end up undoubtedly getting into a Tower moment where you will be hurt, or the other person is just going to give up on the relationship and tell you that it's over, and you're going to be very extremely hurt. And with this Page of Swords being the very first card that came out in terms of your shadow aspects, we can see that you are not very much in a defensive position. You are defensive only to the point of an innocent child, right? With these eggs and the bird in the background, we can, and even just the card itself of being of a page, and her energy not being very much in a fighter or warrior type energy or determined energy, but rather someone that is waiting to see what happens. It is very much that shadow aspect that kind of brings you into these types of situations where you're being very patient to see how the relationship works out, even if the relationship isn't good for you. And you are not very good at deciding what actions to follow through on in terms of relationships right now, because you're in this Page of Swords energy. You're just kind of waiting for someone to come into your life that you think, okay, this is the person that is my dream person or the one for me. But then you take a decision to take an action towards that, and then you end up in this type of relationship progress, which is not what should be happening. You should be in a Queen of Swords or a King of Swords energy where you know what you want and you will not compromise for anyone or anything to be able to get that dream person or that soulmate. And you make wise decisions to take actions towards that person. You don't go after every single person that you seem or you think could develop a romantic relationship with you. Okay? So let's get some advice cards for your shadow aspects and your light aspects. Okay, pile 3. So these are the cards for your advice. So for the light aspect, I'll start off with that. You got the Nine of Cups in reverse. So again, this is reiterating the message that yes, you are someone who knows how to manage and control their emotions. And yes, you're someone who goes after their dreams. And yes, you are looking for that true person to love. But you are looking in the wrong places. So you need to learn how to actually pull your emotions back a little bit when concerned about relationships, okay? So even though you have a lot of emotions to give. And even though you can balance your emotions well and reground and rebalance yourselves and also deal with emotions in a mature way, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do that. Why put yourself through a tough situation when you don't need to? So really what this card is asking you to do is to actually rein your emotions in a little bit. Even though you have the Nine of Cups emotions to give, you should be deciding wisely on who you give it to. You should not be jumping into any relationship that you think is, oh, maybe this is the one. That is where you kind of turn into this Fool card, basically, if this was in upright position. I'm not going to put it into upright because I don't want you in an immature energy. But if this Fool was in upright position, then that's the position that you get yourself into, where you're not listening to any of the important or logical details, but rather just going with the emotional flow of things because you think that this is the person, just because you are, I don't want to say desperate, but really it is that kind of a situation where even the slightest bit, kind of like getting bit by the love bug every single time. It's kind of that situation. And so you have to learn to control the love bug bite and realize when a relationship is truly something worth investing in or something that you just saw one or two signs that you thought, oh, this person is going to be a very good relationship with me, but it will eventually get boring and it'll turn into an empty cup of emotions and hurt you, so we don't want to do that. So we want to avoid that. And that is confirmed or affirmed by your advice for your shadow aspects. Now, your shadow aspects saw that you are kind of forcing yourself into a situation where you're reaching for things and you're deciding to take actions innocently towards relationships that you think are fulfilling, but after ignoring the red flags or certain logical signs and emotional signs and physical signs that this person is not the right person for you, the relationship breaks off in a very disruptive way and can lead you into this patient energy where you're kind of regrounding yourself and trying to rebalance your emotions, which is not something that we need to constantly be doing because that can turn into a toxic cycle and leave you in this innocent or naive Page of Swords energy where you're not making wise decisions for your better life and more positive and healthy life. So the advice for that is to actually embody a Queen of Pentacles and Justice energy. So number one is the Queen of Pentacles. So you need to focus in on the type of person that you want and focus on only having a relationship with your dream person or the one person that is meant for you. Okay? And if you need to analyze what kind of person is the person that will make you the happiest or the most abundant and emotionally fulfilled, do that. Write it down in a list, manifest it, whatever you need to do. But know that you have certain standards and respect and dignity and understanding and requirements that need to be matched in a healthy and positive relationship. Now, of course, don't go into extreme expectations or unrealistic expectations, right? But if you feel that this expectation is not unrealistic for you, then write it down. Don't be cocky or egoistic about it, but be respectful towards yourself, because if you are respectful towards yourself, then you will find the person that will respect you as well and match your wavelength in terms of energy and mental and emotional and physical health and fulfillment. But if you do not focus on this dream person or the standards that you need to hold, then you will actually turn from this satisfied or content Queen of Pentacles into more of a tired Queen of Pentacles that is focusing on something in the physical reality and trying to keep it propped up on her fingertips like that and giving all of her attention and energy into that relationship when she doesn't need to. And it's almost as if she's the only person that's trying to keep the relationship going and trying to keep this physical reality a reality. So that's a very tiring relationship to be in, and you don't want to be in that one, right? So focus in on your standards to a reasonable and humble degree. And then finally, that is backed up by the justice card. So you have to be fair to yourselves and decide what is something that you are absolutely not willing to compromise on and something that you are able to or willing to compromise on. And they have to be ideas or standards where your respect and your dignity and your worth as a human being and as a person who deserves a healthy, emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual, fulfilling relationship deserves. Okay? And along with this ideology of balanced standards and wants and needs and desires and requirements, right? You also have to match that with your actions. So if you need to say no to a relationship, even though you think that, oh, I'm seeing certain signs, but they don't match your standards or you don't think that they're your dream person, then you need to block that relationship off in terms of a romantic interest. You don't have to cut off the friendship with them, but you can say no to them. And if they are advancing towards you because they think that there's something between you guys, you can tell them, well, let's just wait it out 1 or 2 weeks and see how the feelings goes and then proceed from there. Just so it's much more of a gentler letdown, and it'll give you both time to think about the situation and then come back to it with a neutral mind. And again, in this fair justice mode where you are thinking, okay, is this person matching the standards that I need and want? And is this person going to be able to fulfill me emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally? And is this the dream person that is for me, right? And then you proceed with that action. So if you do not do that, you will become very tired with the situation because you will be constantly trying to balance the pros and cons of the relationship and trying to balance the negative and positive energies that are happening in a relationship which is not healthy, which is something that you are basically keeping going rather than the opposing partner, and be stuck in this never-ending cycle of ignoring red flags and being hurt extremely deeply because you've invested so much in the relationship and really thought that this was the way to go because it just happened to flow well. Okay? So pile 3, I hope you guys enjoyed your reading. I know it was a little bit longer today, but again, I want to give you guys as much detailed answers and readings as possible. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and please leave a like, thumbs up if it resonated. And any comments or suggestions or ideas for future videos is much, much appreciated in the comment box below. Thank you and have a great, curious, and blessed week.